the poison.
We've made it. Another OJLL summer comes here to the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League finals and the battle for the Iroquois Trophy. I'm Matthew Carrick alongside the JVI Sports Network and Jonathan Donville. It's the Orangeville Northmen and the Mimico Mountaineers. Donnie.
Yeah, Matty, great to be here with you. We've watched a lot of great games. 11 teams started the year in Ontario, only 2 remain. Matty, since 2008, we played for this championship 14 times. 10 times it's either been won by the Northmen or won by a team that beat the Northmen. The road to the OJLL championship often goes through this building, and that's once again true in 2024.
It's where we start here in Tony Rose, and an early face-off violation against Mimico, who are in their dark blue uniforms. Light blue lettering going right to left away from Nate Whittam. It's Connor O'Toole back in the net for the Orangeville Northmen. Their iconic white, silver, and black going left to right. Quickly into the corner, working through Owen Ron, who was a big problem in that St. Catharines series. No Dylan or Cam Sanderson on the left side, along with Donnie Scott, Garen Jennings. Jake Spallina remains out, as does Zach Poirier.
Yeah, Matty, the start here going to be really important for both teams, but especially for Mimico. In that St. Catharines series, Orangeville crushed St. Catharines in the first game. In the first game of the Beaches series, they got out to a fast start. If they can steal some momentum here earlier in the game, I think it's going to be really important.
And pretty much on cue, it's Lucas Dudemain opening the scoring.
Yeah, this is a dream start for Mimico, and Dudemain and Waters on that left side have a lot of the same strengths for Mimico. The biggest one for me is their ability to get to the middle of the floor. So this is an S-dodge. He gets underneath Stokes so cleanly that he can get back over top and shoot on the run. You're going to see those lefty sweep shots on the run from Waters and Dudemain all series long. If they can score them, Mimico's going to be in real business here.
And the 21-year-old fired up after opening the scoring here, 1-0. I forget the exact total, Jonathan, but less than 25 minutes out of over 300, the Orangeville Northmen have trailed in the playoffs. They'll start down here in game number 1.
Good press there from Long. Something to watch on these face-offs. Mimico scored a lot off face-offs against Peterborough. Tavares can score, Hobbs is going to push it, and Roussel is an O-guy taking the face-off. So Orangeville's got to be careful in those situations. Great play there by Long to get an extra possession here for the Northmen.
Down to Brian Jackman, the trade deadline acquisition and a crease call there against Orangeville as it sat idle in the crease. It is Josh Hills, Chris Williams, and Mark Thompson. There's 3 officials out there tonight.
Yeah, and a good battle behind the play between Onofrio and Tavares, Matty. We might get into the rough stuff a little quicker in this series than maybe we have throughout the first 2 rounds.
Over the top, tons of space for Finn Thompson. Sends a hard shot off the end boards. Back-to-back scoring titles for Finn Thompson coming into this year was ousted by Joey Spallina, who we'll see wearing number 22 for the Northmen.
Yeah, Joey Spallina averaging 42 points, or scoring 42 points in those first 6 games, on the pace to have one of the best playoff seasons ever. But it's not a playoff season until you get through this round, right? This is the hardest round always, so he's got to have another big one here, but he's on a crazy, crazy pace.
That was him trying to set up that play, working with Owen Ron. Right down to the crease, only 8 seconds to get across center, and Kyle Kerrigan can't do it. Begley returning, by the way, from a 1-game suspension in that Peterborough series.
Good job on the press there by Orangeville, something we haven't seen a whole lot throughout the start of the playoffs.
Outside, Liam Matthews, Trey Deer is all alone on the crease. Matthews shovels it to him on his wrong side, tries the same one-handed tuck move he used in the last series against St. Catharines that brought the house down.
Yeah, he tried it a couple times, more times in that St. Catharines series, and as they're going to get maybe a turnover again, him and Matthews have really good chemistry as Orangeville's going to get the double team in here.
Braden Stokes in there along with Cole Barnett. Ball pops out. Cole Teeple picks up. He's one-on-one. I think that's Justin Tavares who jumped out the back door to take transition away. Guy who can run up the floor on his own. Here's Jackman to the top for Spallina. Spallina stops up, very dangerous from that outside. He'll come back to Jackman now. Looking to wheel it through to Cohen Jennings. One-hand pass from Ron. There's a tie-up down in the corner, letting them play through. And the shot clock sounds there against the Northmen. And Jackman a little bit extra to Tavares. And Brian Jackman going to go first power play chance of the series. Goes to the Mountaineers.
We'll see what the call is. I think, Matty, this is more about delay of game than a rough. Yeah, he just not letting Tavares get up the floor. Good job by Tavares of just winning the whistle, right? Once it goes on the ground, it's actually a good play to just leave it as a loose ball, too. And Matty, from my perspective, this series is notably more physical than the others have been so far right off the hop. And as a reminder, we're going for up to 7 here instead of 5 in the finals.
Dudemain hits the crossbar after scoring the lone goal so far. Justin Lee will go right back to him, trying to find Thompson, who tumbled. Had Elijah Edwards fall on top of him, and now ball bounces right into the pocket of Edwards. 4 minutes gone here into the period, and the Northmen will slow down.
Tell you what, anyone other than Justin Lee, who's the top guy in that power play, Cole Teepa would have had a breakaway. Gets that 6'5" arm out there, saves the loose ball. Might have saved the goal for the Mountaineers.
Bowie Horseman couldn't corral that, and let me tell you what, Tavares did a good job there to tie up Cohen Jennings as he was cutting through. A couple players in this series, Aiden Long, Justin Tavares, who maybe could have made a case for Transition Player of the Year, not in the finals list. As Finn Thompson behind the back to Dudemain, got filled in after the shot, and O'Toole makes the save.
Yeah, Orangeville got away with one there, I think. Dudemain got smoked.
Headed off slowly.
Yep.
And, yeah, going to take a breather off in the corner.
Takes what it takes, Matty. Again, this is going to be a 7-game war, or minimum 4 games, but it's not going to be the last shot that Dudemain's going to take.
Trip to Coquitlam on the line. Site of the Minto Cup this year. Long outside shot from Williams, bounces off the end boards. 19 seconds left here in power play number 1.
Yeah, interesting decision here for Mimico. They probably want to go quickly here. You tend to not want to run offense as the penalty expires, so they'll probably look to get a quick one here and avoid that reverse breakaway as Thompson goes for the cut.
In the corner, Isaiah Moran Weeks, Justin Lee back up top. They work it to the crease to Roussel. A little high for Moran Weeks, who touched in the crease. And now only a few ticks left as it's brought up by Owen Ron. So nothing doing on the first power play for Mimico.
Trey Deere using a new stick, by the way, as far as I can tell. It's
a little
chrome.
silver flash. I think he had that in the last series, but you're right. We've been used to seeing the little purple trim.
Yep.
Orange trim on, as is normal for Spalina. Looking to go over the shoulder, behind the back, and a little bit of everything else.
Yeah, and if you've been following along with us this year, you know that Orangeville Mimico is the Syracuse game, right? You have Spalina, his brother Jake, who's not in the lineup tonight, playing for Orangeville this year. Donnie Scott, Jordan Vincent for Mimico, Trey Deere, and Finn Thompson. So lots of Syracuse Orange in the lineup tonight.
And I'm sure lots of their fans tuning in tonight. We say hello to everyone south of the border. Here's Sean Costigan taking it across center. He'll play back to Jackman. Stutter steps around the pick of Braden Penn. Matthews. Far side, someone lost her chin strap. Opening room there for Ron. And that is the rule. Chin strap comes off, so do you. Turns into a wide open look in the tying goal.
Yeah, bad bounce from Mimico. Obviously, McDonald's going to lose his chin strap. Get told somewhere in this mess that he's got to get off the floor. Again, you called it correctly. That is the rule. Yeah, Vincent slides up to try to take away the pass, and Orangeville just gets an easy one. Credit to the Northmen for playing the scenario, right? Not always easy to see those when it's someone's unexpectedly open, but they hit him. Nice finish.
Jaden Ciapera goes down. We were corrected by Rosie on the pronunciation prior to that, so we apologize to Jaden and family. But Ciapera controlling possession here. Trey Deere back to Matthews. Deere from the outside will go all the way across the floor. No Spalina this time, but Bowie Horseman the sidearm shot.
Look out here.
Bounces off the backboards, and yeah, here comes Justin Tavares from the corner facing a triple team. That is a great look to get it back to the captain, Finn Thompson.
Yeah, pretty slick play in the corner there to get it out. It looked like he was about to get trapped.
Justin, the son of Hall of Famer John Tavares. We saw cousin John, the captain of the Maple Leafs, in the house in Peterborough. Thompson comes through, couldn't get the pass, and then he was filled in after. Meanwhile, 2-on-1. Here's Ron and Long. Aiden Long pots it.
Matty, we talked about the Syracuse guys. Aiden Long heading into Cornell, but not for lacrosse. Playing hockey there. He's been one of the best transition players, like you mentioned. He can score, right? This is what he does. He had a bunch in the Big Beaches series, a couple in the St. Catharines series. He's shooting this thing the whole way, and I think Teeple knows it. So credit to Teeple. Just takes his guy, is going to eliminate the 2-on-1, and then Long just seems to kind of fool guys. It's almost like a half twister to the far side. Seems to fool coaches, or seems to fool goalies a lot. He doesn't seem to get a ton of looks, but they go in for him.
Not sure what happened there on the faceoff, but possession awarded to Mimico. Looked like it came from Mark Thompson, the official on the restraining line. Where the third part of that Brampton trade. Meanwhile, in front, Mark Waters. Cameron Pack takes him out into the inside boards. Dante Bowen, Bowie Horseman, Connor O'Toole. If you haven't been following us here all season, traded about a half an hour before the deadline from Brampton to here in Orangeville.
That's an outstanding save
There's
by O'Toole.
Like every draft pick for the next 6 years going back to Brampton in that trade, but paid huge dividends for this Orangeville team. Matthews over the shoulder trying to find Deere. He's also got a man open on the crease, and Deere just elected to dump it down in the corner.
Horseman's a guy that feels like he might be able to go off in this series, right? I think O'Toole has been kind of the premier guy for the Northmen, but Matthews and Spallina and Deere, some of these other guys have been really leading the scoring. You know, Bowie Horseman was the leading scorer on a really good Brampton team for most of the year. So,
and there's what Connor O'Toole's been doing since that deadline. Smothers that loose pick, draft pick, of the Vancouver Warriors. And talk about Hall of Fame fathers. Yes, Patty O'Toole is his dad. Down on the crease, Cohen Jennings, in-house, by the way, head coach of the Excelsiors. And you know, you thought Steve Dietrich trading for himself was weird. How about trading your own son? Isaiah Moran-Weeks out of the corner. Did notice Pops is wearing a black shirt tonight, though, as the shot comes from outside O'Toole.
I don't think there's a logo on there. I don't think that there's a logo on there.
He's way smarter than that.
Yeah.
Of course, it was his Excelsiors that Mimico beat in the first round. Bouncer coming all the way back up top for Spallina. He'll run into it. Although good pressure from Vince. That's Hobbs, who lost his helmet in the exchange, and the arm is high again. It's going to be Spallina.
Great play by Hobbs to just force that turnover. Throws Spallina into the boards. Forces the loose balls. We're going to get our first 6-on-5 here.
Still trying to sort out the personnel on that Mimico bench as we pass the halfway mark here, the first period. Thompson with it. Backs away. Looked like he was passing to the far side, perhaps Waters, who came in to throw a screen, and as it's touched by Graydon Stokes, will get the roughing call in the second power play of the game for Mimico.
Yeah, he was. He was looking for Waters there, who was looking to set a pick, so just a miscommunication. As Mimico will look to go to their power play. Look for maybe that behind-the-net play. They really had a lot of success with the Lakers on that. Thompson to Roussel behind the net, and then finding a feeder as Spallina takes the penalty there.
Before we get too far in this game, want to shout out the officials one more time. There is 2 MSL series going on in Ontario. There's a Junior A finals. The festival is on. Junior B finals in Ontario as well. Josh Hilt's telling me there's about a pool of about 8 guys when you there's a possibility you could need 9 in a roster per night. I'm no math major, but those numbers don't work. And it means a lot of these guys are running a lot of miles every single night in barns as hot as this one.
Yep.
Finn Thompson over the top. He'll pass it down to the corner for Moran. Weeks off the shoulder of O'Toole and just bounced up and out. And speaking of up and out, off the arm there of Moran Weeks and into the safety netting.
Good save by O'Toole there. We've highlighted that earlier in the season, that kind of full twister back to the top right corner that Finn Thompson has. It's a great shot, and O'Toole doesn't get a full piece of it, but just fights it off.
From the outside, Horseman. You called it, Donnie. Guy who could go off, and he goes to Cornell.
And how many of his goals look exactly like this, right? This is what he does. If you let him get over the top with his hands free, he's going to stick it. And when he can set his feet, he likes to hunt that top right corner. And then on the run here, he likes to go short side. I mean, there's not a lot of guys, Matty, that score on the run from that distance because you got to be hard and accurate. That's a great shot. You have to take away top side and not let him shoot. But easier said than done, and another Cornell guy making a big play.
Bouncer back here to Teeple, who will pick up. Short-handed marker from Bowie Horseman, pushing the lead up to 2.
Tough one for Mimico, I think. You get the as Deer's going to go to the net here.
Yeah, and puts it in, waved off crease. Otherwise, he was headed for the highlight reel yet again.
But you get the first goal, you feel good about it. You played pretty well here. Then you give up a shorty, right? That's a killer. Those are the momentum goals you need to try to avoid.
Keep your eye on the bottom left of your screen. Remember, it's the cylinder rule here. Did that first foot cross prior to the ball going in? Would be the rule. Is Dante Bowen involved with Justin Lee, and some of the Northmen fans down to our left want to know why that wasn't a penalty.
Boy, good look there for Mimico. Moran Weeks gets a good one. O'Toole makes the save. Moran Weeks scores his goals in the slot, right in front of the net where good things happen. Horseman scores his goals coming over the top. Moran Weeks scores his right in front of the goal.
Jackman from the outside. He got hit by Begley afterwards, and first penalty of the game to Mimico, so 3 seconds left in their power play before they're going to go to the PK for the first time.
Yeah, probably a call you could have seen coming after that Spalina rough, right? Kind of setting the precedent. Begley's just going to finish. And, yeah, those are ones you obviously need to try to avoid, especially as an underdog in a tough building. Matty, no one has won here since Mimico in the early season.
Right.
Beaches did right around that same time. That game the result ended up being flipped after the fact, but Mimico was the last team to win here, and it's been a lot of games since then, so obviously a very difficult place to win.
To Deer to the back of the net. 13 seconds of power play time, and even less than that because it started 4-on-4.
Yeah, sweet pass from Matthews. That's really the key. Deer's been having a big playoff, but more in the assist column than the goal column, so he'll be pretty fired up to see one go in like that. I mean, we like to say he doesn't score, he only scores fancy goals. That's a good example of not. He catches it, he pumps it as hard as he can to the bottom left corner. That's how they teach it in the textbooks.
Orangeville Northmen were perfect last season before being beaten in this building by the Burlington Blaze, and before that it was nearly 2 years since they were beaten at home, the Orangeville Northmen. And don't think they haven't forgotten that series last year when they thought that they were Minto Cup bound.
And obviously, Matty, it's tough to win in Mimico Arena too, but we're talking about A, because we're here, and B, because Orangeville doesn't need to win in Mimico Arena. They can just defend home floor.
Sure.
So Mimico's got to find a way, not breaking any news here. They got to find a way to get at least one in this building, which, as you mentioned, has been a really tough task.
By the way, series does shift to Mimico Arena on Friday night an 8 p.m. Eastern start. Be sure to subscribe right here to the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League YouTube channel. We will have every game of this final series for you right here.
Yeah, get there early.
Trey Deer from the outside. Yeah, bring freezies.
Bring freezies to us.
Cohen Jennings involved with Angus McDonnell. They're still tied up behind the play. Officials letting them work it out. Thompson brings it up.
Got to be careful here. Refs have set a pretty clear precedent that they're trying to eliminate the after the whistle stuff. We've seen it just burn Mimico. You gotta be careful here.
Finn Thompson up top to Waters. Haven't seen Dudemain in a while since he took that awkward hit. He's just on the floor, leaving now, and good pickup.
As a reminder, Matty, this is not that different than the score was, throughout the middle of the first period in that first game against St. Catharines. That one really got away from the Athletics, right? This is a big couple minutes here for Mimico. You played a pretty good period. Try to get a couple back, and don't let this thing get away from you, because that game one in St. Catharines was over after the first period. That's what you need to avoid here.
Well, this is very reminiscent of, every home game for the Northmen.
Sure.
Looked up at the scoreboard a few minutes ago and didn't realize even that they were up by 2 and now 3 after the quick power play. So, as you say, game can get away from you quickly in this building. Roussel tries a twister that goes well wide of the mark. Eliminating, I would say, mistakes against really both of these teams who are very good at capitalizing if you're going to give them an opportunity.
I think that's the difference with Orangeville is they really don't make a lot of mistakes, right? That's why they're tough, and the combination of the lack of mistakes and O'Toole in there, that's what makes them tough.
Owen Ron picked up a pass that was perhaps intended for Spalina as he cut through the double team, got tugged on, and it's going to be another penalty after scoring on their first power play.
Yeah, credit to Ron here. Obviously, Matthews, Deere, Spalina, they're the guys on the perimeter a lot. The other guys know their role. It's to get to the goal. It's to get people open, get to the goal, draw penalties. Good job by Ron getting into the dirty areas there. As we're going to get our first wipe of what I think is going to be many.
Yep, start the count.
It is warm in here.
Over under on floor wipes, are we 9.5?
Yeah. If you're wondering if it's warm or not warm, warm.
Yeah. As I said last game, many Fahrenheits. Here's the Trey Deer, no goal in the crease again. We'll get it full screen this time. Keep your eye on the feet. And I wonder if that one right there crosses the cylinder. I think that left foot looked like it was
in to me.
A reminder, different from NLL rules if you're just tuning in, haven't followed us all season. The crease rule here, if you picture a cylinder that goes all the way up basically to infinity, you got to keep your feet outside of that.
Yep.
Cannot reach into the crease. And a few other stipulations we'll get to if the situation determines itself, but that's probably why that goal did not count against Trey Deer. Over to Spalina. Already further in this power play than Orangeville got in their first one. Spalina, wide open look, same result though.
I think we're going to see a new goalie coming in here for Mimico. Also obviously reminiscent of that first game against St. Catharines. Spalina comes into this game with 20 goals in the 6 games, just on a crazy pace, and it continues here. Got kind of 2 releases. Got an overhand release, and then he's got that sidearm. And he's very effective with both at hunting that short side hip. Just seems to be a really good shot for him. Didn't have a great angle to see how that one went in, but he finds that near side hip, and goalies just don't seem to see the ball coming out of his stick. As Adam Power is going to make his entrance into this series.
Adam Power, the brother of Owen. As we continue the familial connections here. Power comes in to an ovation from the Mimico faithful off to our right-hand side. Trying to look up the app. Not exactly playing nice with me, but I believe Power's first playoff appearance.
Got to have a good set here for Mimico. New goalie in there. You got to give him something he can see.
Yeah, Matthews around the outside. He'll flip it to Jackman all alone. A bouncer towards the feet, which were moving for Power, but somehow kept it underneath of him.
Yeah, credit to Power coming in doing a job there. And how good is Jackman's going to take a slashing penalty?
This is going to be a too many men call against Orangeville. A little late getting Jackman off.
I think it's going to be on Jackman getting off the floor.
And Thompson over to the far side. Looks like, well, we'll see what the Power situation is as it bounces back here to Orangeville. And a little late hit there between Bowen and Roussel. Some 3-on-3 crime.
I've said this before, Maddie. I'll say it again. Rusty Kruger hates penalties by offensive players. Won't tell you how I know that. And 2 of them now for Orangeville. And Jackman's getting an earful. The whole offensive side of the door is getting an earful. Just a slash up into the shoulders, getting off the floor. And Mimico needs one here. Look for Finn to be a scorer on the power play. He's typically more of a feeder, but really likes to find his own shot on the power play.
Well, already the 3rd opportunity here. Shooting blank so far is Mimico in front to Justin Lee. They try again, and they finally find the back of the net.
Yeah, this is about the eyes of Dudemain and about the respect that Aiden Long has to give to Thompson. You're going to see Dudemain drag to the back, kind of drag back to his lefty side, and then Long is really good defense here. And then as he drags, Long has to start thinking about working out to Thompson, and then Dudemain just throws in the little one to Lee. And I mentioned Moran Weeks scores a lot of his goals in front of the net. Lee does a lot of his damage there as well. Just a big body, finds himself in front of the net an awful lot.
So correct myself. Adam Power knew that was going to happen at some point. Did come in the Peterborough series.
Mimico's got to support these faceoffs better. They keep running into double teams.
Well, it's nearly all hands on deck now as John Tavares gets shoved down, and then an extra little word from Dante Bowen.
Yeah, and Bowen's just waiting for him. So if you can funnel him into the boards, Bowen's waiting there. I mentioned, Maddie, about Aaron Tegure. Calling this game with you is a fun way to spend a Wednesday night. Playing against Dante Bowen, not a very fun way to spend a Wednesday night.
That's why I called from way up here and not next to Dante Bowen. His father, former CFL player, Toronto Argonauts, Hamilton Ticats.
Mimico's got to chuck this thing.
Late in their 8 count and an extra little shove, and that should do it for Ben McIsaac. Yes, it does.
Good press by Mimico, or by Orangeville. I think that's the one thing Mimico's got to try to clean up here is the turnovers, behind the other team's restraining line.
Deer through the far side, through Ron to the outside. Spalina trying to find Deer again. And it bounces into the equipment of Power. He did go off to the bench to Don McDonald, the longtime equipment manager, and looked like just to get a little bit of tape. I thought we were going to get Nate Whittam coming back in, but Power remains in there. Lee trying to fight and cutting Thompson. Ball scooted away, and that pressure from Thompson forces Aiden Long back in the crease.
Watch for these resets for Mimico. This has really been the biggest key to their success as Waters gets a good look. Another reset.
Thompson, the loose ball to the cage. Sidearm shot.
And another one.
That one off O'Toole. 3rd phase, a long outside rip from Waters. That one off O'Toole before it goes up and out of play.
This is what Mimico does. Shot volume and resets, and obviously those 2 things are correlated.
From out of the corner, Dudemain. He'll work around the screen from Finn Thompson. Dudemain, twist shot. O'Toole the stop, and I think that was Stokes that kept it from getting outside of the crease. Horseman back to meet it, reaches across the line. Hidden ball play between him and Matthews.
I don't know what kind of care, as I'll let Ron get to the net here, what kind of care O'Toole has to take care of that plastic stick as Tavares gets a breakaway.
As he's done so many times through the playoffs. This time, though, it's off the right arm of O'Toole. Hobbs in all alone, and look out, Tavares.
That's a good example of another thing to watch with Mimico is they'll run with 2-3 guys, right? So Tavares gets the breakaway, someone else runs it down, Hobbs is waiting in front of the net. You got to get back with multiple guys.
Let me tell you, if you read Lacrosse Culture Daily, you already knew that. It was in today's update. We're down to a minute and a half left. As you look at the bottom left of the replay, Roussel knocked down on the crease. A couple other Mimico players there. Bounces up and out of play again. And again, off an Orangeville player. Roussel on Bowen. One-man change. They'll get Dunamain out there. From the corner, look to the crease and filled in and down. Oh, heavy hit from Bowen on Roussel. Another one coming back on McDonnell. That one little too bit upstairs.
6-on-5 here.
In the eyes of the official, this will be the fourth power play of the period coming up for Mimico. The outside shot handled by O'Toole, and Dunamain takes an extra shove right at the whistle.
This is going to be a war, Matty. This game is I don't know, what's something that's already heated up. It's heated up. It's hot. Yeah.
Like
just going to be this isn't the penalty. McDonnell's going to pick it up
that
here.
Is incredibly legal, that hit.
And then, yeah,
that one right there is incredibly not.
Head.
Yeah.
That's Costigan.
So into the last minute here for Mimico, a chance to perhaps salvage this period.
Yeah, money possession here at the end of the period.
Thompson through the middle, sidearm past the screen. Off O'Toole, up out of play. Aiden Long, a few extra shots to Lee. Thompson goes back across, no look pass. Lee, not sure if that was a shot or a pass to Moran Weeks, but either way, O'Toole got in the way and made the catch.
Boy, nice save there from O'Toole. We were looking at basically exactly what Justin Lee was looking at, that long reach. Tries to get it around O'Toole. He's up to the task.
Northmen can't quite get all the way out of the period here. That could take down to about 6 or 7 seconds. And we'll see if Dean George wants to burn a timeout. Liam Matthews taking it to the corner late in the clock. Stops before the crease. Then touched in it, either that or shot clock violation. They
got to fly up the floor here.
Going to put it in the stick of Vincent. And clock might have started a little late as Trey Deer gives a shove there to Finn Thompson, who gets up and runs his way off the floor. 5-2 in favor of the Orangeville Northmen after one period in game number 1 of the Ontario Lacrosse League final series.
I think this kind of outlines, one of the challenges of this Orangeville team, right? If you're Mimico, you probably feel pretty good about that period. Of the lacrosse we've watched, that's probably some of the more, even lacrosse that we've seen. And Orangeville's still winning 5-2, right? With O'Toole and just the depth of scoring, the different ways that they can beat you, it's just been really tough. So a really good first period, as physical as I thought it was going to be.
Sure.
And, typically series don't get less physical. So, we'll obviously see how that carries on.
Well, we'll see if it heats up even hotter than it is in here in Tony Rose in the second period, which comes your way in about 9 minutes' time. You're watching the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League finals, fueled by Gatorade. We'll be back. For Angus McDonnell, we'll see what they drew up. Double screen far side, Thompson in behind Roussel and Dunamain. Thompson wheeling, 5-hole scores. One in the track bubble.
I'd like to see a timeout here from the Lakers if they can pick it up.
And Thompson on the run, sidearm scores. Hems a stick in frustration after just missing on back-to-back goals. Dunamain has Moran Weeks trailing him. He'll go there now, and now across to Finn Thompson.
They're going with the cross pick too for Thompson.
Thompson wide open, cuts back and scores. Oh. Did you have that one in the playbook, Coach?
This is play 17 here, Matty.
Wow.
Give it to number 17.
Wow.
Gatorade. With electrolytes to help replenish what's lost in sweat, carbs to help fuel your working muscles, and fluids to help you hydrate. Scientifically formulated so you never stop competing.
Let's go, raise up one time, go get it, it's yours, let's shine, come on.
Rehydrate, replenish, refuel. Gatorade.
Hello, OJLL fans, and welcome to the 2024 OJLL Finals. Recently, on the Back of the Bird podcast, hosted by Dan Lomas, Paul Dawson, and myself, we've been asking some NLL legends how they got their now very famous jersey numbers. We want to air some of those clips throughout these finals during the intermissions. First off today is Orangeville legend Brody Merrill. Hope you enjoy.
Wanted to cap it off. Where's the inspiration for your jersey number come from?
Yeah, so that it initially started with so Dustin Sanderson had a bad accident his midget year, and he broke his neck, got hit from behind in Brampton and broke his neck, and so had to, he was able to recover and but he wasn't able to play lacrosse again, and so that was my first year going to Georgetown, and so Matt and I, we both wore number 17 that year just to kind of recognize him. And Chris, then after Chris Anderson had passed, obviously a close friend and mentor for me with Team Canada, I got to wear that in 2014. And so that was a really, really big honor for me.
Kicking it now to one of the best players in the world, Lyle Thompson.
We like to ask everybody this, but what went into you picking the number 4?
My father wore number 2 and number 4. He played up in Akwesasne. He won a couple President's Cups. And Miles, actually we all took 2 except for Jeremy. And then eventually me and Miles played on the same team. So one of us had to sacrifice the 2. And I went with 4 because I always looked up to Jeremy. So I was kind of stuck with it since I was probably 7th grade. Used to be 2 before then.
And finishing it off with Peterborough legend Sean Evans.
Last one. What about your number? Where does that come from?
My number 15?
Yeah.
Comes from my dad. I believe my dad wore it. I was younger, so I never got a chance to really watch him play. I got to watch him play old timers. But he played for the Toronto Maple Leafs for I think 6 or 7 games. I knew that, but never got a chance to kind of see him when he was playing for the Petes. Or I think he was wearing 15 for the Petes. I think remember seeing the number 15 on a picture at home growing up, and I think my brother wore it as well. It was a number that just kind of stayed with me, and I kind of wore all the way up. 15 and 88, I kind of wore when I was a younger age. I kind of wore 88 and 15 when I got it when I was an overage kid. So it was just those 2 numbers that stuck with me, and I got to play them out.
Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy the rest of the game.
Welcome back to Tony Rose Arena for period number 2 of game number 1 of the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League Finals. Adam Power leading the Mimico Mountaineers out of the locker room, so it looks like he is going to stay in for at least the start of this period. Took over for Nate Whittam after Orangeville went up 5-2 after that first period, despite Mimico having 4 opportunities on the power play, did score once, and will remain there for 1 minute and 6 seconds. I'm Matthew Carrick alongside Jonathan Donville.
Yeah, big power play here, obviously, from Mimico. I think the combination of Tanner Thompson and Dean George, they usually come out with pretty good set pieces here. Obviously, you need one. 3-goal games kind of hang in the balance, right? They can get to 6 pretty quick and be over, and they can get tied up pretty quick. So a big first few minutes here, especially for Mimico.
Although they lose the face-off and have to watch the offense.
Yeah, so they'll get one look at this. Just can't give up goals and can't take penalties in these short man scenarios.
Spalina from the outside. Trade Deer already headed off the floor. Bad angle shot. Spalina came at the tail end of the shot clock anyways, and it goes for the over and back.
Yeah, and Mimico will take it. It's going to advance the ball as well.
32 seconds left in their power play, and Dante laid off the floor 5-on-3 momentarily. Although now Nate Ruff gets back into the set.
Good play by Pack. I think Bowen had a chin strap issue as well.
Thompson and Dudemain turns and fires, and O'Toole's first touch of the period out of the way. Here comes Bowie Horseman already with 1 here in the game. He'll slow up, however. If you're a fan of the NLL, you'll notice the different sticks here in summer ball. Much bigger, wider, wooden shafted goaltender stick. Except in the case of O'Toole, who uses a big plastic one. Here's Deer, fakes high, goes low, and Power will make the stop. Through Jordan Vincent. He'll play it down the boards. Thompson continuing the cycle is Lee, trying to find Mark Waters, who had already cut through and overran that pass.
Got to get to the gate here. These lefties come hard in Orangeville. This second period's been good for the Northmen forever. A lot of good lefties come up that door. Adam Jones, Dylan Watson, a lot of good players. Scored a lot of big goals coming off that door. And the guys they have now have added a couple as well.
Here's Spalina from long range. I'm sure we'll be mentioning his name years from now as well. Only 2 seasons to be exact in Junior A, but they've been 2 spectacular ones for Joey Spalina. Trey Deer, part of that as well. From the outside, how about that guy, Liam Matthews? Power makes the stop and bombs it all the way down floor for Angus McDonnell in front of O'Toole, turns and fires. That's a good stop.
Look out,
meanwhile,
Pack's
back down
open.
the other way, Cameron Pack on the wrong side of the floor, trying to figure out his options and try to go to Trey Deer.
He heard what I was saying about the legendary lefties to come off that door, and he tried to get one more, but he might have been more open himself there.
Talk of trade deadline acquisitions. How about Pack coming over last year from St. Catharines at the deadline? 2 pretty good playoff runs from number 55. Here's Dudemain, swarmed and eventually shoved into the crease by Sean Costigan.
Great defense by Costigan there. It's a good looking possession. Dudemain really strong, can work his way out of some of those scenarios, just it's in a little bit too deep. As Coach Dean George giving his offensive door a little bit of grief here.
Shot there from Jackman, goes into the corner. Back to Deer. Far side, Jackman stutter step. His shot bounces just in front of Power before going up out of play. And little haphazard start, you could say, to this period as we get a wipe down in the crease of O'Toole.
Matty, I mentioned Trey Deer using what seems to me to be a new stick. I think O guys tend to fall in 1 of 2 categories. Some guys can just pick up a new stick off the rack or off their garage. I get anxiety watching Trey Deer playing the new stick in the Ontario Finals.
I was going to say, you are not one of those guys.
My gear by the end of the Ontario Finals was hanging on to absolutely everything by a thread. So just follow the two cams. That gives me the absolute heebie-jeebies. And, Trey Deer just saying, I got a great stick. I think it's guys who can string their own sticks. They don't mind pulling them in new, but I needed to get someone to string mine. So once I got one that worked, it was over.
Who was your go-to guy? Did you have one?
Yeah, Kaysen Tarbell used to string my sticks.
Really?
He plays for the Georgia Swarm now. We played at Cornell together. So he's the best I've ever had. And Tarbs, if you're listening to this, I need a couple more. I miss you.
Roussel from the outside. Justin Tavares back through. Into the corner to Dudemain. Thompson lost his stick and did so illegally, so Power's going to lake the long run. Tavares shoots, trying to get the reset with the extra attacker, and it goes up out of play. And fifth power play of the game for Mimico.
I mean, this is an easy one and also a good coaching point. As an O guy, if someone's grabbing your stick, drop it, right? Show the refs that they're grabbing it. Finn comes around, looked like he was going to be wide open. No stick. Going to see it right here. Oh, it's already out at that point. Getting pretty deep in the power play playbook. It's not always easy when you get a bunch of them in short order.
Moran Weeks to Dudemain. Lee through Roussel. Justin Lee taking top spot. Back to Roussel. Against the grain Dudemain, and Lee wasn't ready for his pass. Neither was Dudemain. So it looks like perhaps an ad hoc set. Pack dangerously close to the over and back line. Dudemain does get the strip. Out there along with Vincent. And they'll slow things down and get the big boys out there.
Great play. We've seen Orangeville come up with more of those than Mimico so far, but that's a great play by the Mountaineers to get themselves more power play time.
Here's Thompson. Works around the screen. Sidearm rip. And O'Toole made the stop. Looked like the rebound was bouncing out. O'Toole got there first, however.
There it is.
Teeple out the front door. Deer. And look out.
Yeah.
Power getting a penalty here?
Every time.
Yeah, I think so.
Matty, I'm not much of a wrestling fan. I don't know if I'm qualified to tell you what happened here. Deer,
he came from the top rope. That's what happened. Here I thought SummerSlam was Saturday.
Again, my laughter does not mean I'm condoning it. Sometimes you just have to laugh. See something new every time you come to the rink.
Wait a second. Trey Deer's in the box. So did they call it on goaltender interference? No. Sorry, that's still the penalty. My mistake. That is Dante Bowen in the box, still serving the end of his penalty. And they're looking for, it is a penalty against Power, sorry.
Orangeville's going to go to the 4-on-4.
Through the middle, Horseman. It bounces away. First one there is Mimico. It'll be picked up by Dudemain. Excuse me, that's Aaron Taguri. Thompson picked it up and backed into pressure. Here's Vincent.
4-on-4 here for another possession. As you see, Angus McDonnell does a little bit of everything. Good pick.
Up top, Thompson, a skip shot in on O'Toole. May have gotten a little extra shot on the floor. Official didn't call it that time. Costigan, who may have got away with one, gets up and down floor. I don't know what the world record is for freezy consumption in one arena. We might be close.
Yeah, they're going through Costco packs here.
Just seeing everybody walk past the garbage can at the same time. Here's Deer from the outside, and that one will hit the screening up top.
Here's this three-man press again.
Big fake from McDonnell. His shot off O'Toole. Ball skips away and right into Nate Ruff, a finalist for Transition Player of the Year last year. He'll pull out. Was down with Ciapera and Bowen. And again, they'll wait for the offensive players to get out on the floor for the power play, and why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think you'll see them shoot that in every other scenario. Good save by Power. That was a good look for our fans of Spalina hunting that short side hip. Power reads it well, but now you got to be careful that you don't guess, right? Once the shooter sees that you're all over it, then they can start throwing curveballs.
10 seconds left. So Mimico looks like they're going to take this all the way down.
Yeah, good kill for Mimico there. Obviously not a full power play, but they'll take it as we played 6.5 now in the second period without a goal for either side. Might be broadcaster's jinx coming up here.
Bouncing ball, though. Cameron Pack looks to that front door. Deere was the first one out and stumbled. Thompson right on him. This will be the last year, we believe, that a Thompson will play Junior A for Mimico. 4 brothers, an 8-second count.
Wow, they're going to say Mimico picked that up in the corner. That's a tough bounce for the Mountaineers. I think they're going to say Finn Thompson picked that up in the corner because otherwise there's no way that was 8 seconds. We couldn't really see it from here, so we'll have 5-on-5 set Orangeville ball when we come back in here. But
finish my thought. Finn Thompson, the last of 4 brothers who have come through this program, starting with Tanner the first year they came back into Junior A in, was it 2014-15?
2015, yeah. Tanner was drafted by the Beaches, played 2 years for the Beaches, then really came home to Mimico. It was my first year, our first year as an expansion team, and really set the tone, I think. When Tanner came home, a lot of other guys came back to play as well, and was a wonderful leader and captain and a close friend as well. So I'm really proud to have played with actually all the Thompsons throughout their career, and it's the end of an era here. Boy, a rare perimeter mistake there for Orangeville. Athletic therapist Mary taking one for the team there off the deflection.
And no reaction.
No.
Good eat.
It takes everybody in the playoffs.
Here's
it takes everybody.
Thompson from the far side back to Dudemain. Those are the 2 biggest weapons perhaps for Mimico. Is that shot from the outside?
Here.
Yeah.
Look out.
On the way off, Lee went down. He's hobbling to the bench, and quick out the front door is Deere. That little cutback move is starting to be a trademark for Trey Deere.
Again, for those who are unaware, the home bench at Tony Rhodes is unusually far down the floor. So you really have to get to that lefty gate because they can come basically straight across the floor. So Mimico has bad luck. Dudemain gets tripped up on another player here. It's actually a really good look by Dudemain. He's going to get tripped up on Lee when you're the summer as well. So excited to be here for this series and then continue to watch lacrosse all summer long.
Reminder that game number 2 shifts to Mimico basically every other day except for game 7 will follow game 6 immediately after should we get that far. So Friday night, 8 p.m. in Mimico. Best way to watch Ontario Junior A Lacrosse is to be there in person. If not, we got you covered. Ball skips away. Teeple chasing it down, got to center. Isaiah Moran-Weeks fell. Big battle for it in front of the Orangeville bench. Still bounding down floor, and finally it's reset as the Northmen pick it up. Here comes Lucas Dudemain back the other way. Dudemain turns and scores.
If you're a fan of the PLL, Matty, you're probably aware of Cole Kirst. Really celebrates his goals. They were joking on the weekend, celebrates every goal, gets his first and his last in a good way. I could watch Lucas Dudemain celebrate goals all day long. Guy just gets fired up. And this is a big one, right? Mimico obviously needs to make a run. And really the little toe drag at the end around the Stokes check is the key, and then finds that top corner. We haven't seen teams have a whole lot of success, Matty, shooting 5-hole or shooting at the stick of O'Toole. So I think the right idea to maybe try to go up top. Even if it doesn't work, at least it's a different look.
8:28 to go here in period number 2. That 9.5 wipe down mark that we gave for the over-under. We're at 5 for those playing along at home.
Good line by you, Matt. We still got we're almost exactly halfway through the game.
There you go. May have to up it a little bit once we get to Mimico. That third period can drag on when we get there. But
yep. Whatever devices you have, that if you have a handheld fans, if you have the paper kind, bring them on Friday night. You're going to need them.
You're going to need
bring one for your friend.
3 of everything.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's a tight-knit community. We're all friends here, right? Bring a fan. Bring a fan for a fan. How about that, Matty?
Oh.
I think that's called alliteration, but don't fact check me.
There's got to be an HVAC company that'll sponsor that.
yeah, hit us up.
Here's Spalina from the outside. Pick from Horseman. Back to a 4-goal lead. Trey Deer, what a catch! Somehow the ball bounced its way to Brian Jackman, and Whittam makes an exceptional save on him too.
That's nasty stuff from Deer. I mean, the kid's just got a bag of tricks around the goal. No other way to say it.
Oh, Vincent passing back to Aiden McDonnell, who was at the time behind the timeline. Did get it in legal territory, though. Here's Isaiah Moran-Weeks.
Some sort of a set piece coming here, I think.
Due to Maine.
Yeah.
With Waters, it opened up Justin Lee through the middle. Ball bounces away from Thompson. Lee from a long way from home. Can't get it through Vincent Orfrio, and they go back to the front door again on the run. Cohen Jennings, it's in.
It's been this kind of playoff run for the Northmen. Mimico runs a good play on the offensive end, can't connect the dots on the pass. End up getting the ball up the floor for another breakaway. Again, it's so far to go to try to get to that door. Power makes the save, and then it's going to go right off Kerrigan into the net. That is nightmare fuel for defenders. I don't think there's anything he could have done differently there. The ball just bounced right off him. What can you do?
So I've got 8 goals on the board and 11 different players, 12 if you count O'Toole, with points in the game for the Hornheads here already, and that's kind of how both these teams work. When everybody gets involved, they seem to do pretty good damage.
Yeah.
Sean Costigan taken down there.
Yeah, Mimico came into the game with 4 guys with more than 10 goals in the playoffs. Thompson, Dudemain, Tavares, and I think and Moran Weeks. And then Orangeville had 3 but less games. So as you're mentioning, I think it's safe to say the 2 deepest teams.
Under 7 to play here. Lead back up to 5. Northmen are so good at just answering when a team scores and then just no goals for about 7 minutes before they put another one in.
Right.
In the corner, Deer, Spalina. He'll be one-on-one over the top, eludes Tavares, turns and scores.
If there's one guy on the floor who's comfortable in one-on-one matchups, Matty, it's Joey Spalina. That's what he does all the time in field lacrosse. Call this a rocker move. So he's going to go to his right hand, and he's basically going to fake a spin move. So right here, fakes the spin move. That's the rocker right there. And then he smokes it bottom right. That is how they teach it in textbooks. I've used that analogy twice tonight. I will find a new one, but that also applies in this scenario.
Thought the rocker in this town referred to the classic rock that plays when basically the Northmen do anything. Walkout, win song, goal song. Mimico, I mean, we still got 26 minutes of game left, but kind of need one.
Yep, absolutely. You mentioned it, Matt. We just haven't seen so far in the playoffs a really sustained run against Orangeville, right?
Right.
They go on runs and then they give up 1 or 2, but I don't think we've seen anything more than a 2-goal run against.
Ooh, look out.
Teeple almost gets our second own goal here.
Spalina's second of the game. Continues to have Justin outstanding.
Yep. If you're wondering, Spalina up to 22 goals now in the playoffs. The most since 2008, the most in a single playoffs was Cody Jamieson, 46 goals just in the playoffs, but that was in, I believe, 16 or 18 games. So a few more games, but back in 2008, he began his career as a legend.
I was going to say Cody Jamieson. Did anything become of that guy?
Yeah, right. Heard of him.
Yeah. And this is the spot. If you want to see the next crop of legends, this is where they come from. And
sure.
Joey Spalina starting to make a case for that. I'm sure it's going to be a long, healthy career for Joey Spalina. And I would venture to say indoors and outdoors.
Yeah, if you're
going to be one of those players.
A college lacrosse fan, you got to like what you're seeing this summer from the Syracuse guys, right? It's a lot of college folks are working internships or doing other stuff, taking the summer off, and the 6 guys in this game are coming up to Ontario and getting better.
Jackman fell, still managed to get it to Spalina. Hat-trick watch in effect for number 22, and out breaks Tavares down in the corner, beats O'Toole. And for his efforts, meets Elijah Edwards and then got crushed. Aiden Long, official thought about it and then will give the cross-check call as Tavares got taken down after the shot.
Yeah, Tavares is off to the races there. They just couldn't connect the pass. Just been a weird night of stick work, I think, for Mimico. Just had too many of those drops. Those will sort themselves out here, but then still makes a good play to basically just dodge on Edwards. Gets right over top, gets a good look here, then you're going to see Long with the finish.
Yeah,
it's another one.
Started in the shoulder and rode up.
Yeah.
Get a goaltender water break. There's a look at Connor O'Toole, who really over into the back half of last summer just really found his own as a good young junior A goaltender. As we said, ended up getting drafted by the Vancouver Warriors. And a phenomenal senior season here in junior lacrosse.
Yep. Yeah, it's really been one of the major storylines of the year. Is him coming over to Orangeville, I think, really kind of shifted the balance of power, and it's proven to be true so far. And worth mentioning, this is game 1, right? We're going to go to Mimico Arena on Friday, and there's still lots of time tonight. Going to go to Mimico Arena, also a very hard place to play. So we're not trying to act like anything is already set in stone or whatnot. A lot of really good lacrosse yet to be played.
Look at the passing play here for Mimico. You said earlier, balls kind of bouncing funny out of their stick, bouncing out there and into the back of the net.
This is the play I was talking about earlier. They've run this in the Peterborough series. It's going to be a side seal for Thompson. Roussel pushes behind the net, and then Moran Weeks is just right inside. And just a good spot feed by Roussel. Again, how many times have I said it in the playoffs? Throw it into the cutters. Throw it in. You're not going to score too many from the outside, especially on O'Toole. You got to throw it in when guys are in there. And Moran Weeks scores, I believe, his first of the night. He was the leading scorer goals-wise for Mimico coming into the playoffs. Something that, by the way, I've been mentioning throughout the whole summer. Like, look when the games started to really matter for a guy with his skill set to be important.
Well, you consider he's a 21-year-old as well. They always seem to find that extra gear when they're in the playoffs and, the back end of their career, starting to see the end of the tunnel perhaps.
Worth mentioning, Matty, pretty much all the offensive players, as Horseman does what he does.
How about a hat trick for the former Brampton captain? And another answer for Orangeville.
Again, if Horseman gets over top to his right hand, he can really sling it. And you're going to see Taguri's worried about an up pick, so just tries to get he's worried about the up pick, looking at it, and Horseman just takes top side, shoots it on the run. There's just not very many guys who score those on the run. It's a really hard shot to score at a high level. He's got a 2 tonight. I think Liam Matthews is another guy who can hit those on the run. Most guys want to set their feet. But Horseman gets it done, and now with a hat trick and showing that he can just score, easy goals.
And for these Brampton senior guys like Horseman, Bowen, O'Toole, like we've talked about throughout the game, first taste of the playoffs.
Yeah, it was
when they
crazy.
came over to Orangeville in their 21-year-old season. Making impacts all over the floor from that wild, crazy last-second trade. Here's Waters, shoots through and scores.
We
got a conversation about it after.
Here, yeah. Yeah, Waters had saved his best for last in the Peterborough series. I don't know if he scored before that in the series, then had 4 in game 4, and they were all in the second period. He got really hot, and another good example of the players telling me to shut up because I was talking about 5-hole, and you're going to see this, shoots it at the far side foot and just pumps it through the 5-hole. He says, shut your mouth, Donnie. I can hit 5-hole.
Ciapera, you're allowed 2 steps before it pops out the back. You have to get it out of the back of the stick, excuse me. Looked like the explanation there from Mark Thompson. Saw him hold up 2
Well, you can't
fingers.
You can't pop it twice. If you pop it, the ball's got to come out. Orangeville staff not happy with that call. I think that was the right call from our angle.
Yeah, it looked like the ball was stuck there.
Yeah.
Gives it here to Mimico. Look at the aggressive defense being played by Dante Bowen on Finn Thompson. Ball still rolling around, and Morant Weeks barrels into O'Toole. Ciapara's down in the crease as well. Everybody gets up and heads off. Ciapara looks like
he might be a little banged up, I think.
Yeah. Keeps grabbing at the chin. And there's no doubt we're not going to get a wipe down in that crease.
Yeah.
Number 6 of the game coming up. Here's Trey Deer. Pass a little too high for Spallina. It comes back for Onofrio. Races on between him and Tavares. Onofrio wins it with a spin move and a shot clock violation. And indeed, we do need a wipe down in the crease of O'Toole.
Matt, we talked about it several times in the semifinals. You had options as a fan there. You could go to AC and turf. You could go to hot and cement. Your options are now over.
Yeah.
we have hot cement. That's what you're left with, and that's why you see the wipe downs here.
Well, credit Chris Williams. He said, I love running around in this stuff. Like I think he's a little bit crazy.
Sure.
I told him, it wouldn't be the OLA finals if it wasn't stupid hot. I'll take it for an hour and a half, and then I want AC.
The heat didn't bother me so much as a player. I never found there to be that big of a difference between the buildings as a player. As a fan, of a broadcaster, it's far more noticeable.
I always wondered that because, you got gear,
I just think it's hot no matter what.
Okay.
That's my kind of feeling on the as a player. They're all really hot, and you're going to get really tired, really sweaty. It kind of evens out. That's just my opinion. But you definitely notice it as a broadcaster. If I had to pick one, a full Memorial Arena with air that's been in the building since 1975 is the hottest one. That's just my opinion. A lot of folks say here, a lot of folks say Mimico, a lot of folks say Burlington.
Burlington came up in our discussions pregame, yeah. Moran Weeks to the corner for Dunamain. He'll play it across for Thompson. Fake low went high. That's off a helmet of, I thought it was Lee. They're going to say perhaps Edwards. I talked to Thomas Kazik, who was wearing full uppers about an hour and a half before a game in Mimico. I said, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And he says, you know what? It's all the same to me. I don't care. Here's Aiden Long going to run past everybody. Can't put it past Power, perhaps shooting just a little bit high. Recovered by McIsaac, and here comes Moran Weeks one more time.
Well, especially for the goalies. For the goalies, it's a joke. It's unbelievably hot in that gear. At least the players, you got your lower half free.
Thompson and Roussel almost danced himself out of his shoes before shooting wide. Into the final 2 minutes here. Both teams do have both timeouts, so expect a couple more stoppages as we come down the stretch. Trey Deer looks past Ron to Spallina, and he goes back to 91. Over the top.
Good job there by McDonough.
Passed a couple screens through the double team. Deer faked low, tried to go high again, and got to explain to him what the crease is, I think.
Yeah, minute 13 left here, so Mimico probably wants to use pretty close to a full possession. was a little casual there.
Looking for last shot.
Use, most of a full possession, leave Orangeville with not too many options, and try to get the 6-on-5.
It's Waters in front. It looked like he was behind O'Toole. He wasn't sure where it was. Went and took the seat, and Lee
now you want to shoot
the possession alive. Thompson does just that, gets the reset.
Shoot it again.
At about 40 seconds. Dudemain wants the play set instead.
Now you got to play. You're out of the 2-for-1 zone. You got to play. Got as good a shot as you can.
Back to Dudemain. He's one-on-one spin move to the net. But bouncer to Finn Thompson, and in the crease of O'Toole, and timeout called by Rusty Kruger and company.
Might have had Deere coming off the bench there, but good timeout nonetheless. 23 seconds. I mean, like, the reality is, Maddie, if you're Mimico, you probably can't allow another goal, right? If you're going to come back in this game. If you look at how the first 2 rounds have gone.
Race to 10.
I think maybe Beach has got to 10 once, but other than that, it's been tough sledding, and most of them haven't even been close. Orangeville's had a bunch of 6s and 5s in there on the defensive end. It sounds harsh, but this is a must save, and it's going to be pretty much a must save for the rest of the way here, because as much as it feels like Mimico's actually had a decent 2 periods, stuck 5 with heading into the second
and again, we're talking about playing in this building. We're talking about it because it's been so many times since 2008, because it's hot, because historically this is what happens.
Yep.
And historically these are how Orangeville playoff games go, and Mimico's in one again here, and as you said, perhaps need stops the rest of the way, well putting them behind one of the top goaltenders.
Yep, no doubt about it.
In the OJLL, and I know we're piling it on here, Mimico fans, but...
So interesting, by the way, playing to the score a little bit. O'Toole staying in the net here. So Orangeville's going to play 5-on-5, and the Orangeville coaching staff says any goal we could get is not worth the gamble to maybe give one up. Pretty good strategy, I think.
Spalina to the outside to Matthews. Final 4 seconds. Horseman went for the one hand, got it back and shot, and taken into the corner boards. And we're going to have a penalty coming up here after the late shot.
I think that's going to be on Horseman.
Yeah.
Tavares finishes the check into the boards. Maybe slightly late. Horseman doesn't like it. Gets him with the cross check. Good end to the period, obviously, for Mimico there, but 20 more good minutes remaining. Got to like your game here if you're Orangeville. Probably don't like the penalties, but got to like your game.
So it is 10-5 in favor of the Orangeville Northmen after 2 periods here in game number 1 of the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League Finals. We'll take a break and be back in about 9.5 minutes. For Angus McDonnell, we'll see what they drew up. Double screen far side. Thompson in behind Roussel and Dudemain. Thompson wheeling 5-hole scores. One in the...
Get ready, Ottawa. Box Lacrosse is returning to its Canadian roots and giving the nation's capital the team they deserve. Gatorade. Electrolytes to help replenish what's lost in sweat. Carbs to help fuel your working muscles. And fluids to help you hydrate. Scientifically formulated so you never stop competing.
Yeah, let's go. Raise up one time, go get it. It's yours. Let's shine. Come on.
Rehydrate, replenish, refuel. Gatorade.
Back live with Tony Rose for the third period here between Mimico Mountaineers and the Orangeville Northmen. Mimico about to go on their 7th power play of the game, scoring just twice on the man advantage of their 5 goals, 10 through the first 2 periods for the Orangeville Northmen. They have 3 off 4 power plays, as well as a hat trick from Bowie Horseman and doubles from Trey Deer and Joey Spalina. Matthew Carrick alongside Jonathan Donville as we get set for period number 3. And Mimico starting on the man advantage yet again, Donnie.
Yeah, it's that last second penalty by Bowie. Obviously a huge opportunity here for Mimico to, you're worried about obviously getting back in this game, but just want to get some momentum, right? You're looking at game 2 here. If you're Mimico, I think you got to approach this series as we only need 1 in Tony Rose. If it doesn't come tonight, maybe we can go home, defend home floor, and then get another one.
Here's Dudemain from outside. Justin Lee will come over to make the catch.
Roussel's open here. Yep.
They go to him in the middle, the low shot. He's going to pick up the rebound, turn and fire. O'Toole looking over his shoulder. That was an awkward turn, but somehow kept it underneath him.
Yeah, and both with that plastic wall stick. If you're
that you love so much.
If you're an NLL goalie watching this, text us, comment, Twitter, tell us what the difference is between that and everything else from a goalie's perspective.
Big high step from the outside. Sean Costigan. He'll pass it through the middle, a bouncer off the stick of Owen Power. Of course, we don't get the benefit of like morning shoot around to talk to players, goalies,
sure,
stuff like that. To be quite frank, I don't want to be here early enough because it's too hot.
Yeah.
Before O'Toole and guys like Whittam and others start to get into game mode. But, I mean, he's got some of the best mentors around. His father's in the Hall of Fame, and his GM is the reigning NLL goalie of the year. Getting his side strides in there, though, with Mimico passing back and forth across the crease.
Maybe one too many passes there for Mimico. I think Thompson had a dunk. O'Toole's still scrambling.
Wipe down number 7. This comes a minute and 34 seconds into the third period. As we get a look at this other last chance, excuse me.
It's going to go up to Dudemain, through to Thompson. I think this is the one he wants to shoot, yeah. Goes for the extra pass. O'Toole was there. Those are tough. I think one thing O'Toole does well, Matty, I'm always talking about bouncing it, right? It really gets there with his feet.
Right.
Gets his
foot,
foot and stick, everything kind of comes together.
I was just about to say this. First move to his right, he stayed standing. Most goalies will come and slide through that.
Yeah.
And then you're way out of position for the wide open look the other side. Big slide back move from Aaron Taguri, all alone in front, and Jennings rang it off the crossbar.
Going for the Trey move there, the Trey Deer move there, Jennings.
By the way, there are some of the top photographers and content producers in Ontario in the building, so be sure you're following all the socials for reactions just like that one from Brian Jackman after this game.
Jackman's really played his best lacrosse since coming over from the Oakville Buzz. One of several guys to get traded off the Buzz, and he's been really, really good. Mostly as a picker, kind of off-ball guy, but this was his role in Oakville, being the primary initiator. Shoots that one on the run. As I was saying, not many guys can shoot on the run like Bowie Horseman. Jackman goes and does a pretty good impression himself.
Right after killing off another penalty, Mimico 2 for 7 tonight on the man advantage. And in that St. Catharines series, the Athletics had their chances too. 1 for 6, I believe, down in St. Catharines, or 1 for 7. But either way, Northmen are giving their opponents a chance on the man advantage. Just nobody on him able to capitalize, Spalina, Vincent Orfrio pulls it back and fires on Power.
Pretty good battle. Spalina's on the ground.
Yeah, I think he just slipped.
Gonna wipe, yeah. Hopefully he's okay.
Yeah.
That concrete floor is exactly as hard as you would expect it is. If you're maybe from the States, you've never been up here to Canada, it's exactly as hard as you would think a concrete floor is.
11-5 the score right now.
Good look at the wipe crew.
They have a name for them here.
That doesn't feel like the right term.
No. I know they're the double blue crew.
Great shot by our
Mimico.
camera guy
We'll
here.
see them.
Great shot by our crew. Kids are living the dream right now. Great.
How many times do we hear stories, 10 years from now, someone will be like, someone who plays for the Northmen will be like, yeah,
sure.
I used to be a wipe down guy.
Yep.
You're like,
Max Kruger.
Max Kruger. Goals tonight.
Yeah,
of
we called that game earlier when he scored his first game. He was the ball boy for us when I played here.
There you go.
Buffalo Bandits back in the day had some pretty good ball boys. One of them you might have heard of, Jeff Teat. Another one, Justin Tavares. You may have heard of some of these guys playing big time minutes.
Getting word. Former ball boy Nick Rose here in Orangeville as well. As the outside shot goes in for Mimico.
Nice shot by McDonnell here. This is Angus. Brother Aiden plays on the back end, and Angus will play it all over the floor, and he kind of does the same thing that Horseman did earlier. He's going to kind of come over the top and then really yank it down, right? Yank it into the dirt, so to speak, as the expression goes, into the marble here, but he makes it look like it's an overhand release and then really just snaps the wrist and gets the ball back down to the feet of the goaltender.
By my count, 4 points now, all assists for Finn Thompson out of the 6 goals scored by the Double Blue. Talked about Aiden Long's hockey career. How about Angus McDonnell's 189th draft pick of the Dallas Stars in 2023?
Is that good?
I hear that's pretty good.
Coming off a 30-goal season for the Mississauga Steelheads, if my notes are correct.
Yeah, point a game pretty much.
Yep, 62 points, I believe. So, very talented guy, playing with his brother, like I said, a common theme in junior lacrosse, right? You mentioned the Thompson brothers, the McDonnells, there's lots of guys, especially a tight-knit crew like Mimico.
Justin Lee will bring it down. Mimico back within 5. Again, trying to put a rare run together in this building. An outside shot from Thompson goes off a body. Teeple will bring it down out of the corner.
Teeple's lucky he turned to the corner there. Not lucky. He did the right thing by turning to the corner to protect himself because Finn Thompson was on a beeline for him. If he turned upfield there, he was not going to like the result.
Trey Deer to the cutter. Ron Onofrio. Seen Vincent Orfrio getting a couple extra shots here in this third period.
Should be numbers here, 4-on-3 for Mimico.
Led by Vincent. Comes back up top. McDonnell put it right into the body of Dante Bowen.
What a play by Bowen.
And it'll bounce up to Deer. Lowers his shoulder on Vincent. Walks back. Here's Bowen. Can't handle it.
Good battle. Cuse on Cuse there. Vincent and Deer. Slash behind the play is going to give it back to the Northmen.
5 minutes gone here in the third period. Those are those little mistakes that we talk about from Mimico. You cannot give, especially the way this game is, extra chances to the Northmen. Up top, Spalina waiting, shoots. That one got through to Power and to the far side, picked up by Jackman. He'll swim move. Looks off of Spalina. But now Jackman from the corner again. Wants to go to Spalina. Sitting on hat-trick watch for number 22. Cuts the corner, works back, and shot ends up wide. Jackman saves the possession. 10 to shoot. Sails it high over top of Power. Ben McIsaac. Bit of a stutter step move from Dudemain. Lucas Dudemain. He'll go back to the corner again. Isaiah Moran Weeks, normally where he would play, they'll switch up and go to their regular set. Dudemain in the corner. Maybe trapped there, has to clear out. Waters waits for him, takes the shot. Rebound's going to come all the way back down to Power.
What a save by O'Toole there. I don't think he saw that until the very last second here. Oh, clever play by Mimico to run a guy off the bench.
Perhaps even better from McDonnell to stop up to Dudemain.
This is lacrosse IQ from Mimico. They send the ball goes back. Everyone's getting pressed. So they run a guy to the bench and sprint McDonnell off. So you're going to see Waters here. He just jumps off the floor. Ciaparo's got to get back. They hit McDonnell. Good little touch pass here to beat the double team. And then Dudemain, again, he wants to sweep to the middle to his left hand and shoot on the run. He got that to start the game, gets it there now. And 4 goals, 13 minutes, Matty? Like,
if there's one thing you'll say about the Mountaineers in this playoff run, they've been a come-from-behind team.
100%
they have relied
100%.
on the comebacks, and maybe there's another one starting to brew here in Tony Rose. Hobbs, big step, and how many blocks is that from Bowen?
Good eat, don't rub it. Hunting a Happy Meal there.
He has had some extra supersized Happy Meals this season, including game number 1 where he lowered the shoulder on some poor St. Catharines transition player who was on the wrong end of highlights for the rest of the week. Onofrio filled in the corner. Kyle Kerrigan in there. He shoves his man down. Still tied up with Deere. Meanwhile, back on the crease, Jennings. Deere still shoving with Hobbs. Now gets a stick knocked out of his hands by Eden McDonnell, and McDonald is just trying to get everybody clear.
Yeah, you cannot afford a penalty now for Mimico. A, it's a good opportunity for them to score, and B, you can't afford to play 2 minutes of bad offense. You need to push as hard as you can here for the last 12 minutes.
Thompson up top, sidearm skip shot. It does kind of feel like Thompson time, doesn't it? When they've needed big goals historically, they've gone to that last name, but
100%.
That shot bounces wide. Spalina getting the Joey chant from behind the net. Standing room only. Back behind Adam Power. They were letting him hear it after letting in a goal to start this period, but Mimico has started to claw back with back-to-back goals.
I think we're seeing Bowen on a lot of these shifts now, right? Pretty even for most of the playoffs. I think when I played in Orangeville, right, when it started to get to this time, Mike McCannell, Zach Deacon, not a lot of off shifts for those guys. And I think you'll see the same thing for Long and Bowen especially.
Thompson, McDonnell. A lot of teams will have their last-minute D guys.
Yep.
And last minute seems to be the last 13, 12, 10.
Yeah, a lot of last minutes.
Especially when it gets to the playoffs. McDonnell looks like
took
a
scary slip, yeah.
Is getting back up, but slowly off to the bench. Bowen with it, gives to Deere. Spalina, far side Horseman already with 3 in this game, cuts back, and a nicely timed stick check. Not sure if it was Kerrigan, and after the whistle, a little bump.
Yeah, we're having chats after every whistle now.
Norfrio doesn't like it from Kerrigan, and
yep.
Yeah, they got 4 more games, 3 more at least after this, potentially 6 more.
And here come the floor sweepers. Yeah, just a good finish by Kerrigan. Onofrio going, sticking up for Bowie, but if the intermission after Horseman's penalty went how I thought it would go, these Orangeville offensive players will be very timid to take another penalty.
Right. I won't ask you how you know that.
Yeah.
Speaking of a fan for a fan sponsors, I'm sure we could find one for the wipe down breaks.
Yeah.
Down here. You got a good cleaning company?
Swiffer WestJet?
Let us know. Hey, no free ads. Come on, man.
Okay, unnamed companies. Sweep tool.
Minute 16 seconds away from the midway
Interesting
point.
move here. Orangeville's going to press this thing the whole way. Lee can try to run by these and maybe get an advantage.
Yeah, Cole Barnett, the top man.
Yeah, Barnett's pretty quick.
Got it through Finn Thompson up to Moran Weeks. Now Lee. Into Thompson again. He'll pass it back to Moran Weeks. Missed it. Nice little recovery and a good shot. It's in, but they say crease.
Yeah, two different officials had that one too, the near side and the far side. So two good looks at that for the officials.
Dudemain wanted the flag thrown. No challenge here. So it remains 11-7. Keep your eye on the bottom left of your screen as Trey Deer in live action. Can't find Jackman. And
here he goes.
Meanwhile, down floor, Tavares home free again, and O'Toole into the rocking chair, comes back. Ball pops out, but not out of the crease.
Matty, you're about the 300th person to call Tavares on O'Toole, right? that two of the great players in our game, and now their sons doing battle.
You just made a lot of people feel very old. Here's Trey Deer, Spallina on the crease. Over the shoulder from Costigan. Oh, number 9.
Here we come. We got 10 minutes to play, Matty. I think your bet is going to cash.
Well, former Brampton captain, we've been
Look
talking
at the
about it
flow.
all night. Bowie Horseman. Here's what he's done here tonight.
Yeah,
3
again,
goals.
just really gifted at getting over top of down screens and shooting it. This is the first one, rips it short side. And then on the second one, he's going to get his stick way up in the air, just real good deceptive shooting. Just watch power, watch the goaltender on this one. Thinks it's going high, and it just ends up at his feet. That's a hopeless feeling for a goaltender. And then this is not a replay of the first one, just gets over the top, shoots it on the run. I think he goes far side maybe on this one. Through the 5-hole perhaps, but a gifted shooter on the run, set feet, it don't matter. In a phone booth, on a train, on a plane.
Well, look, we did a bunch of Brampton games before the trade. We've done a bunch of Orangeville games since after the trade. That's his spot on the floor.
Sure.
That's his play.
Yep.
The book is out, and they still can't stop it.
Yep.
Here's Thompson after shedding Bowen. That bouncer sailed wide and up into the screen here. Pack's face mask has come popped out. He's discussing it with McDonnell.
Well, if you're thinking about putting together a game plan against Orangeville, right, you got to start with Spallina, I think, given the run that he's on. So that presents its own challenges. Then you got to deal with the two-man of Matthews and Deer. So by the time you get into Horseman, you're at like probably the third or fourth thing.
Right.
And, it's tough in the summer in general to get that detailed into scouts. And in any scouting report, it's tough to get 4 or 5 points deep.
Down floor in the corner. Hobbs trying to break free of a Northfield. He's facing a triple team. Now he finally get the whistle. I think he trapped it. And time seems to tick a little bit faster here, Tony Rose, if you're the road team and you're down. Now just 9 minutes left in regulation.
Yeah, and you're seeing Costigan playing O here. That's another trend we've seen as Orangeville protects these leads is they'll let their D guys play, and you can see Costigan starting to float back.
Spallina, look out. Taking into the end boards after it looked like that play was over. Bagley.
Yeah, Orangeville bench didn't like that one.
No.
Spallina getting taking a late one.
By the way, those of you who are superstitious, we were told that nobody except DJ Cleveley is allowed to give us the starting lineup. That's what Andrew Suter said.
Okay.
When I went to get the starting lineup, he was nowhere to be found.
Okay.
And Nick Rose said, give it to me, I got it.
Okay.
So if Deej has the hot hand, it wasn't given to us before this game. Here's Justin Lee. Shot sails over top of the crossbar.
Good D. Ciapara has been on Lee a bunch here, obviously giving up a ton of height, but just been really good not letting him get to the middle. Again, Lee's the guy who does most of his scoring in front of the cage.
Outside Horseman, we just showed you what he's done in this game. No Spalina this set. They go across to Jackman, his shot. Off the right foot of Power. And over to the far side, Vincent will pick up. Sometime in this series, we have to do a shoe feature between Vincent and Bowen.
Sure.
And over to the bench to see if I see Spalina. I see Mary Lella.
He's just taking a breather.
Yeah,
at the
I
back.
see Mary Lella and Set standing there doing nothing, so that's probably the best sign of all. Stokes going to work on the ball carrier down in the corner. It's Dudemain. Fights through, lost his glove. Now working back Orangeville again. Spalina will come out this time, along with Deere. Costigan back through, 91-22. Big screen in front, it's Ron. Spalina looks it off and goes into the corner for Deere. All the way back up top, Ron stumbled. Spalina hits the same spot and goes down, then gets worked over again. McDonald, they called too much. And we've hit the over, Donnie. Wipe down number 10.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a bunch more, too. Got to try to avoid these if you're Mimico. Just a late shove on Spalina. You need to play offense.
We showed you Bowie Horseman's hat trick. How about number 24 the other way, Lucas
that
Dudemain?
Shot on the run. Great Selly, and then this one he's going to get pushed underneath. Does a good job of kind of hesitating right here, and then the Toei puts it top corner. Another great Selly. And then this last one, this is going to be a look at Moran Weeks. Disallowed goal. Hard to tell.
Oof.
Yeah, then this is the Dudemain hat trick.
Yeah.
So great pass here from McDonnell. And then just another shot on the run. Looks off his defender, shoots it. And another good Selly.
Well, Selly game on point for Dudemain.
Nothing disrespectful at all about his celebrations, right? Just fired up, jumping into the boards.
Spalina playing lefty. Then went back to righty and behind his back. Seen him do that a couple times too. Come back to the near side, switch hands.
Yep. Still waiting, Matty, for an NLL team to play 7-0 guys, 3 righties, 3 lefties, and someone who can just do both. And if you don't think it's coming, you're wrong. Someone eventually will be good enough to do it.
Schreiber scored lefty this year.
Schreiber probably could do it. You want it to be like a depth guy. You don't want it to be trying to figure out what side your best player's on every shift. But it's coming.
Well, when you're the top guy, you decide if you're going strong righty or lefty.
Right.
A lot of Costigan here down the stretch. Same with Norfrio.
If you're wondering what that sound is, by the way, the Orangeville fans getting the coins on the glass right behind Power.
I was trying to figure out what sound you're talking about.
I thought it was raining.
There's horns, there's coins, there's fans, there's...
I don't think we saw the air horn tonight, by the way. Curious if that shows up to Mimico Arena.
I would almost guarantee that.
Yeah. 6-on-5 here, 6-on-5, early 6-on-5 for Mimico.
Yeah, Thompson, far side, low shot, Dudemain again, give him 4.
Good call by the coaching staff, Dean George and the staff here. Why do you go with, why do you pull the goalie this early? Well, because if you're going to get back in it, you need time to get back in it, and if you don't get in it, then you lose anyways. So there's really no harm when you need this many goals. Dudemain's the last guy, just shoots right under that outstretched stick of Stokes. That's alliteration as well.
You're doing well. I might be out of a job here a couple games from now. Don't look now, Mimico, the comeback kids back within 3. Their fans to our right are feeling it. Back to McDonnell, it's in! These face-off plays, you've been talking about them, Donnie, and Mimico converts another.
And we are officially in we have a ball game territory. 5 minutes, 2 goals, very manageable. McDonnell just leaking. Roussel plays it forward. He's sitting there. Our viewers are going to get a sweet angle of this. Right over that hip, right at the hand. Again, if you can hit that spot, the hand that has the stick in it, obviously harder to move that one. So a great spot from McDonnell there. A name to remember for a few different reasons. He's very likely going to play professional sports. We're just not sure which one yet.
Right. Some choices to be made in the next,
well,
I would say year or so, as the let's go
and
pick your favorite chance, go back and forth here.
This might feel like the first time in the playoffs that somebody other than Orangeville's had the momentum in a game, like really late in an important game. A long way to go, still 2 goals, and you got to slam the door, but at least something you can take home with you. And this crowd on both sides starting to get fired up.
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear it, but as you said, both sides starting to come to life.
Bowen, by the way, playing on his own dotted line. He said, no one is getting behind me ever again on this faceoff.
Well, we were up close to 94 decibels.
Yeah, can't afford a letdown here if you're Mimico. On defense, you got to slam the door.
Screen there from Ron, gets it back to the crease. Deer had a man on him. 3 to shoot. Deer turns and gets it off power. And the rebound doesn't come far enough as Tavares was blocking the door.
Good shift there from Tavares.
And now here comes Mimico again. Thompson back to Justin Lee. He'll wait it out one-on-one with Ruff. Over through Moran Weeks, down into the corner. Powers still in the net, 5-on-5 set. Ball bounces away, can't get across center. Lee will send it across. Moran Weeks running out of time, long range. It did get there, but the rebound will bounce to Cameron Pack. Over his shoulder, look out, Moran Weeks. Couldn't get to Ruff in time, and then the wrap check attempt from Thompson.
Thought Thompson had a good angle there. I thought he could have just hit him into the boards.
Yeah, it gave Ruff room to get it across in the 8 seconds.
Good reminder, by the way. Why do you pull your goalie that early? Because then you get one off the faceoff, and now you're back into it. You don't have to pull your goalie now.
Here's Spalina. One-on-one, turns that shot wide. It's going to be over and back, and picked up by Mimico. Britton Pitt will get the quick restart, but they're streaming out that back door for Orangeville.
Yeah, you can hear the crowd in here kind of holding its breath, right? I haven't felt this kind of energy in here yet in the playoffs.
Justin Lee.
Boy, good close off by Long.
Pitt got knocked down. Lee still with it. Long not letting anything happen out of that corner. Pitt walks in and couldn't get a shot as it rolls harmlessly into O'Toole. And now look out, Teeple in behind everybody. He'll slow up.
I think that's the right call by Teeple. I was going to say he's got a decision to make here. First period, I think he's shooting that thing all day long.
Northmen fans making their voice heard. Here's Deer to the far side. Brought down to D'Onofrio. Perhaps one of the most unlikely sources, with perhaps the dagger.
Depth scoring is so important in the playoffs. And D'Onofrio's just going to come into this thing late. Just take it right to the house. What a toe drag at the end of this thing, right? It's a face dodge. Gets it going short side. He is fired up, jumping into the home faithful back there. Again, the Mimico fans sitting down on the right side of our broadcast, but behind the net is about as pro-Northman as you'll find.
Another face-off win for Orangeville as they work back again. Colton Barnett. He'll get it through Costigan. Far side, Spalina wants to go. Vincent not going to let him. Over the top, Spalina shoots. Power the save. In front, Jennings rebound. He'll pull out.
Huge loose ball by Jennings. Those will show up on the scoreboard. That's the kind of stuff that's going to win them games. Might
Up
see a
top.
message be sent here.
Jennings. Look out, Jackman stumbled as he cut the corner on McDonnell.
I think McDonnell also slipped there.
Yeah.
So I think he ended up getting him low, but because he was already falling himself.
There's a couple spots that need a wipe down, which gives us a chance to remind you of the schedule. 2 days from now, Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, we will be in Mimico. We're starting to hydrate as soon as we leave.
Sure.
As we get another look at this goal from Mimico here.
Worth noting, Maddie, we've been saying it all playoffs long, but I really appreciate people spending their time with us on YouTube. If you can get to these games, go. There is no substitute for seeing them in person. If you can't make it there, if you're not from the Greater Toronto area, we'll have you certainly on YouTube. But if you can get there, get there. It should be a good one at Mimico Arena. If you're wondering if it's going to be hot or not hot, it'll be hot. Oh, the boys getting double duty here.
Whew.
They're going to start making a union here pretty soon if we're not careful. Gotta know your rights. They are having a ball.
So game 2 Friday. We're back here in Orangeville Sunday night, 8 p.m. This place is going to be rocking on Sunday. I guarantee that.
100%.
And then Tuesday, that's August the 6th in Mimico, 8 p.m. That's game number 4. The rest of the schedule available by downloading the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League app. As we got goalie out here and extra attacker on for Mimico.
Yeah, the wipe gives an opportunity to draw something up.
Far side.
No shot for Orangeville. They're playing straight up.
Lee back to Waters. A couple side steps. Moran Weeks on the crease. He got drilled as the shot went wide. Look out here. Lee bumps Bowen. Going to let them play through. Rebound to Cole Teeple. And he touches up in timeout called by the bench of the Northmen.
What a Lucy by Teeple. So that'll be Orangeville's second timeout. So they're out of timeouts here. The first thing, the big decision here for Mimico is, do you pull your goalie out, like right now? Do you try to double team the ball?
The answer looks like it's no.
It's going to be no. So you probably still want to double team the ball and then try to leave one man covering 2 on the backside. I think you pull him. I think you got to try to double the ball and not allow any easy passes. It's just going to be too hard to get to all these guys, in my opinion.
By the way, Owen Power came in after the 5th Orangeville goal in the first period. Ever since that time, 9-7 in favor of Mimico.
Yeah, obviously, perhaps a decision for Coach Dean George for Game 2. Would expect to see Whittam back in there, but you never know.
I don't think it's that hard of a decision, but I think the leash becomes shorter.
Right.
Much like we saw in that St. Catharines series between, take your pick, Vanier or Wilson.
Yep.
Although we did see Ty Wilson come in and play game number 3 and do exceptionally well here in this building. Out to the outside, Colm Barnett again as the Northmen spread the floor. Well, except for Trey Deer, all defensive players out there right now. Shot from Barnett. We heard the timeout call from up here, and that'll be the one for Dean George here in the third period.
Yeah, Barnett doing the dirty work for most of that rag possession there. He's the guy that clears it. Mimico never really able to get their double team in there, so that's what you're looking for Orangeville to take 30 seconds off, and we're getting close to miracle time here now for Mimico, but still a lot of positives they can take with them, I think. I think it's great to know that they're in this series, and going back to Mimico Arena, there's lots of things that they can build on.
Well, they've gone back to the well. They are the comeback kids. We've seen that throughout even in that deciding game against Peterborough. 6 goals required in the third period and all the momentum in their home barn, which is where we're going 2 nights from now on Friday. But I think the message needs to be starting earlier, starting on time, so you're not put in that situation.
Yeah, the first period was tough. You just got to limit the runs, obviously, too. I think that's key. And then you're going to have to get probably more production from the power play as well. I think that's going to be key at the end. I think maybe 1 or 2 tonight, but when you get 6, 7, 8 opportunities in the playoffs, you can have games where you only get 1 or 2. So you got to hit them when you get them. 2
for 7 is Mimico to 3 for 4 on the side of the Orangeville Northmen. And as we said, don't expect penalty numbers to drop as this series goes on. Empty net again. Finn Thompson starts with it. Back in Mimico territory.
Bowen playing super high on Thompson.
Roussel from the corner. He'll go back up to Thompson. Far side. Dudemain's open through the middle. Takes the shot. Had to double clutch a little bit, and that kind of clogged the lane. Gets called for the over and back. Dudemain out racing Bowen, and that probably prevented the quick restart.
Yeah, that should do it here. Orangeville can take pretty much all the time off the clock.
And they will indeed put all defensive players out there for this final set. For first time in the playoffs, we saw them test it a little bit here on home floor down the stretch, but they look like they will come away with first blood here in the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League Finals.
Yeah, really solid lacrosse game here. Pretty much what we expected to see. Really looking forward to a good one on Friday.
8 p.m. start time in Mimico. Get there if you can. And if not, we got you covered here on the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League YouTube channel. 12-9, officially the final. The Northmen remain perfect in the playoffs. For my partner, Jonathan Donville, for our director tonight, Rachel Wolf, Gary Morrison for the JVI Sports Network, and Colleen Grimes of the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League. My name is Matthew Carrick. Thank you for tuning in to game number 1 of the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League Finals. We'll talk to you Friday from Mimico.
Place of poison.